Turn on the magic with Display Lumino. Meet the new generation of illuminated wall art with ultra thin. Turn on the magic with Display Lumino. Meet the new generation of illuminated wall art with ultra thin. Turn on the magic with Display Lumino. Meet the new generation of illuminated wall art with ultra thin. Turn on the magic with Display Lumino. Meet the new generation of illuminated wall art with ultra thin. Turn on the magic with Display Lumino. Meet the new generation of illuminated wall art with ultra thin. Turn on the magic with Display Lumino. Meet the new generation of illuminated wall art with ultra thin. Turn on the magic with Display Lumino. Meet the new generation of illuminated wall art with ultra thin. Turn on the magic with Display Lumino. Meet the new generation of illuminated wall art with ultra thin.
Hello, good evening. Hello and welcome to, well, now the officially Galaxy Christmassy stream. First things first, is my audio working? I tried to improve some things. Sounds good. Thank you very much in chat. All right then. Better volume. Yeah, I think I found the culprit. And now I can even make it louder if we need to, or make it quieter, but I think this, according to my bars in OBS, it looks pretty good. But let me know if it doesn't, so we can fix it now. Yeah, well, I had a test stream on Monday. I have to assume that you have not been there because, I mean, obviously I have to repeat a lot of things. Today we're going to have another look at the Galaxy. I have made a handful of improvements even from Monday, and then I broke some of these improvements just like a second ago. But it will mostly give you a look of of the quality I'm aiming for in the future. Basically, it's better lighting than what you're seeing right now. I explained it on Monday, but I'll explain it again. The whole Galaxy interior that I built here was obviously never built for, neither streaming nor being put into a game engine. It was just made to be rendered for my videos. And so it looks a bit flat here and there because I have to turn off all the lights for my streams and my also for the scenes that I give to you. Just because otherwise the performance, it's just too big. But I've found a way now to it's not really. I always knew how to make that better, but I did not plan for it because I never intended to do this. Anyway, I did one room that I made prettier now, and in the future I will do that for most of the rooms, hopefully. But we'll see when we get there. As always, I already saw the German in the chat. I got a lot of German people over from my German friend Karolinger, and also, because obviously I'm streaming from Germany. So please, as always, feel free to put questions in German if you want to, and I'll translate them, but I'll have to stick to English because that was a language I always used on my channel. But feel free to use whatever you feel comfortable with, as long as it's German or English. I can't translate any other languages. And while I walk around the Galaxy, feel free to, as always, put your questions about the thing, about the measurements, about whatever you want. Last week the chat exploded at some point, so you would help me if you put like a question in brackets before your text if you have a question. Yeah, I think that's everything. So let's start. Unlike my Galaxy videos, we're today starting from the lower front of the ship. This is basically the maintenance room, or the engineering room. It's where most of the components of the Galaxy will be housed. And it's a small room right beneath the cockpit. The reason we are starting here is because it is one of the 3 or 4, depending on the module, entries into the ship, because there is a small lift there. It's a surface elevator that can get you to the outside. We can't unfortunately use it today because I can't load the interior and exterior in at the same time. Talking about that, we can look at the exterior later too if you want to, but right now this is only the interior. And since this might be one of the entrances you will use most commonly, I thought we were going to start here today. Alright, from here, this is also one of the rooms that will massively benefit from better lighting than this. I'll make sure to add that as soon as possible. Going forward, we have a small staircase, and last week we talked a lot about wasted space. There's a lot of wasted space behind these walls, a lot of room where you could put more rooms, but it is what it is. Then we have what I think is the locker and armory room, basically, where you have your suit lockers, your ammo racks, and also personal inventory stuff. At least that's what it looks like on the layouts. I don't think it was really ever mentioned what it is, but especially because it's right next to the ground elevator, that is one of the more likely uses, I think. Go in further to the front. We got a first crossing, and to the left you have your elevator going up. That will be the elevator that is right in front of the airlock, the mess hall, and also the cockpit. but today we're going to take the opposite route. So behind that we have, well, this is where the module will be. Right now it's completely empty, so this is not the cargo module, this is basically no module. As mentioned in the Q&A, if you don't have a module equipped, well, there will still be this empty void where you can put stuff, but not have a cargo grid. So your things might be flying around. The room might also be smaller. We don't know any of that. We don't know nothing about it. Just that they said it will be an empty void that you can go through and put stuff in. But yeah, as always, they can change and nerf and fix that however they want, really. Further to the back, we got the hangar. And this hangar, I didn't put these boxes just for fun. These boxes are exactly one SCU presence. So you have a better feeling for the scale right now. The hangar doors will open a bit different than I animated them in the past. I think they are folding doors like on a Carrack and also a Caterpillar. At least that's what I think. Other than that, the hangar measurements, I had to look that up again. This hangar, well, as always, everything I say is according to my reconstruction, right? So I built this based on the blueprints they gave us, and it's pretty accurate, but not perfectly accurate. For the Galaxy, I would say 85 to 90% accurate. But to my measurements, this hangar, as you see it right here, is 15.5 meters long and 13 meters wide. And that is measured from basically the end of these bars here, just because, well, these will restrict you from putting bigger ships in. From wall to wall here, so in between these things, it would be 18 meters wide. But again, you're very restricted because of these. In between them are the cargo grids. So that is where you can put your 64 SCU. In the middle there are none, but it is basically a designated flight pad for XXX ships. So only the small ones, the Pisces, the MPUV, and I think the Arrow is officially XSS, I'm not sure. Well, only the tiny ones. You can put bigger ones in, but you're a lot more restricted than you would think. I have made a list of all the ships that I've tried, but basically I couldn't fit in anything interesting. So no Prospector, no Vulture, to mention the ones asked about most. Those two, they will basically fit through the doors, and you can even park them on the landing gear, but they will stick out quite a lot, so you can't quantum jump, and that means you can't really use them in your mining operation, right? So it's really not meant as a carrier platform. It is only able to carry like the small medical ships and the small well, all the tractor stuff like the MPUV. Arrow, I said Arrow earlier. I'm 90% sure it fits. I'm 100% sure it fits. Not sure if two fit, but one for sure. But anything other than that probably will be hard. Even an Aurora that is pretty sleek is too long again. Someone asked me a few days ago in the comments if it fits a Hornet. And just, I mean, it is 15 meters long, okay? This is 15.5 meters. The Hornet is a massive ship. The Hornet is almost double the size of that. It's if you've been to CitizenCon, the Hornet model that stood there on the floor, that was not real size. That was between half and 2/3 of the original size. So that was still not big enough. It's a massive ship, and well, it won't ever fit in here. I say according to my measurements and stuff, but this thing will never fit a Hornet, I promise you that. Other than that, obviously all the small stuff, all the Furies and bikes and all that stuff, sure, that's fine. Rocks, but you won't have a ramp at the bottom or at the back here. So everything you want to get in, you will have to tractor in. And it's pretty high off the ground, so you will need probably a tractor ship like the MPUV to get in vehicles or something. Did I miss anything about this hangar? I don't think so. Well, as I said, you only have the 64 SCU on the sides. Again, we talked a lot about that last week. I think it's mostly balancing because if you put cargo grids everywhere, for real, this would be the ship with the most cargo right now, except for the Hull C, I think. But it would have a lot more than even the C2 or the Caterpillar, which is just, it would be too good. So you will have a little bit of cargo here, but it's mostly a hangar for landing your ships. And then you can have more here if you have the cargo module. It's a bit weird that this hangar is so high, but yeah, I mean, if you stand in here, and I stood in here in VR, it feels very, very amazing. It's an amazing room. The view you have from up there is amazing. So a lot of people are not happy with the hangar because they want to fit more stuff in it. But it is not meant as a, it's not a massive ship, right? So it's cool that you have a hangar, and it has a very nice feel to it. On this side we have a ladder. On the opposite side you will have a lift. Great idea for when we have power outages in the future. And that's what I mentioned, great view from up here. Same on the opposite side, we have kind of a mirrored deck layout here. And then here's this well, gangway in the middle where you there is a terminal here that I did not put in, but you can, I don't know what kind of terminal, maybe even some engineering work, maybe it's just to control some tractor beams. I don't even know if there are tractor beams here. But it's another great room, even though it takes a lot of space, right? Because it has rooms on both sides, and again, you could use this for a lot of other stuff because you already have 2 overviewing windows. Question in the chat: how do we know for sure it's meant to be that tall? Mostly because I have built this after the blueprints, right? The orthographic images that we got. And so we know that these windows look over the bottom, and so it could be a touch lower, right? It could be at the very top of this window, but not much lower. We know that, I know pretty much the exact height of this window and the view down. And I think there is even an artwork looking up from here. So you can basically see how high, no, yeah, actually there is, if you look at the artworks, there is one from the hangar where you can see the ceiling a bit. And so it's, well, again, not 100% accurate, but probably 80 to 90%. Back here, there's 2 engineering stations, or I don't know if it's engineering stations, because this would probably also be one. Or it could also be the position for the remote turrets, just because the remote turrets are right on the opposite side of this wall on the exterior. I don't know if they are controlled only from here or from the cockpit. We know nothing about that. I just think because they are placed here on both sides and the turrets are right on the other side of this, it's kind of likely that they are here. And also, I think it would be great to have a window here, even though they are remote turrets. You usually see what you see through the turrets on these screens. But still, just for immersion and for Windows' sake, I think it would be great if you, like, from the corner of your eye, see really outside and see what's happening out there. And in general, this ship, as most of them, lacks windows. And this again is, I checked, it's not a thick wall. There's a perfect shape on the outside to place a window here. I think it would be a great place for a window. That's all I'm saying. One of the few ships that could actually fit the Nova tank in it then. I have to disappoint you again. If you want to see it for yourself, have a look at my video. It's called, which one is it? The Refinery mod? No, wait, it's the latest one. It's the Galaxy cargo module. I put tanks in there, both ballistas and Novas. The ballista only fits in the hangar here, and it has to put its nose right in this door frame, and that is so close that I won't guarantee that it fits. It could already, if it's like 5% smaller, it won't fit, and even if, then it's only one. And the Nova tank, you can obviously fit a Nova tank in here, one, but again, there's no ramp, so tractoring it in would be a bit tricky. And in the hangar module, you could fit, technically you could fit 2 or even 3 Nova tanks, but they are like a touch too big for the elevator, for the cargo module elevator. Again, if it gets 5 to 10% bigger than it is right now, or if my measurements are off by 5 to 10%, then it could work, but I don't think it will, because they want it to be used with an Ursa, and they have the opportunity to make it impossible to get a Nova, and it's basically their call. Technically it would fit right now, but it's like, it's very tight. But yeah, again, it would fit them in the room. And nothing would fit through the door, basically nothing, like not even a rock would fit through the door. It's meant to basically not make it a carrier, I think, because otherwise it would be too strong again. Alright, going further to the front, we have our 6. That's the crew quarters, so every crew member has his very own bed and also bathroom. I'm obviously missing some textures here. That's I said I improved some things, and well, I broke these apparently. But it's one room for every crew member, which is nice compared to, well, the Polaris, for example, where it's, because it's a military ship, you have like a group, or I think it's 2 people per room, but still it's nice to have your own. I talked about that when we talked about the drama about the Galaxy now being changed, having changed places in production with the Perseus. As usual, people are not happy with that, but I think in this single in this example, it makes kind of sense to make the Perseus first, because this is one of the examples where, sorry, their argument was that Polaris and Perseus are closer together model-wise because they are both military ships. And I think that makes sense, because this one, as you can see here, is a lot more civilian, and therefore, yeah, probably it is faster to make the Perseus first. It's a shame, I want the Galaxy now, but I understand their reasoning. Now, this is the room that got broken the most. I added lighting into this room, and then yeah, I broke it last minute, which is a shame because it's one of the nicest rooms on the ship because of these massive windows here. I'll fix that as soon as I can, probably even for the stream tomorrow. There's missing, we have missing the kitchen area here. There's a kitchen counter where you can prepare your food, your dining area, and on the opposite side some recreational area with billiard and a screen. As I said earlier, this is one of the rooms with the worst wasted space. So behind these walls you have a solid 3.5 to 4 meters that is just unused space. So you could extend this room quite a lot, make pretty windows into these sinks, into these resets here, and make this space even nicer, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Further to the front we have the before mentioned elevator. It's currently downstairs. That's basically where we started our tour. On the opposite side we have the airlock, which I'm sure will have a door for depressurization, but I'm not sure if it is in the blueprints or if I just didn't see it, but I'm not, well, there will be one, right? And then to the front we have the cockpit and your 4 seats. The back 2 ones are very nice just because they are so elevated, but unfortunately they have a terrible view. There's like solid steel here. And then to the front you have 2 more seats. As you can see, the view isn't the best. It's I released some of these models for my patrons, and some complained that they asked me if I could fix the windows with all the stuff outside, but unfortunately that's part of the exterior hull. I did not. Well, I put this here, but that's basically the Hollywood model. That's the official model. So unless they elevate the bridge further, this is your view, and well, you have all these platings on the side. The top is not glass, and then in the front you have more platings here which also take kind of the view. If you're in the pilot's position, you have the usual RSI, similar to the Connie, the struts going through your view. It's not as bad as on the Connie, but it's still there. And if you wanted to make this a bit more open and open the sides to the upper 2 seats, unfortunately, again, behind these walls you have more steel. There's like a massive steel beam going around the outside, so even if they added more windows here, it would be pretty hard to see anything. That bothers me a lot, actually, because I mean, this is about half of what you see from the Polaris, right? And the Polaris is a dedicated warship, while this was planned to be a modular explorer, right? So I would expect an explorer to have an amazing view and a warship to have a terrible view, but for some reason it's the opposite. And I hope that they change this and instead add some of these brand new blast shields, because blast shields give you best of both worlds of protection and a great view, and they also make sense to me. I had a lot of comments of people saying that it doesn't matter what you put there because glass in this universe is not really glass, but it's some compound material that is harder than steel, and so you can basically make everything glass. I don't like that either. I think it makes, I mean, even if it makes sense physically, it does not make sense from a design standpoint. So I think massive windows like you have on the Polaris just don't look military and aggressive. They look, yeah, like an exploration or even like a luxury traveling vehicles, so I usually like if they restrict the view on ships that are supposed to look tanky and military, but then open it further on civilian craft. And the Galaxy is supposed to be a lot more civilian, even though it has the shape of a Star Destroyer, which really doesn't help to bring across this point, but it's not supposed to be a Star Destroyer. It's not supposed to be a fighting ship at all. It's supposed to be a multi-role explorer. Yeah, that's my little rant about the terrible view. Because even from up here, you basically don't see anything. That's just sad for an exploration ship. And then there's only one single room that we left out, and that's just because that is the one room that I improved. Here we finally have some nice baked lighting with the sun coming in. Again, where you have a window, the ship gets a lot more beautiful. That's your captain's quarters, obviously. And from here you have a great view, well, through the window, but also throughout the whole ship. You can see, if there are doors, obviously, I took the doors out for this demo. But you can look all the way to the bridge from here, and I just like that. It's a great roleplay thing to have a look at your bridge and see if everything's right there, and you, like, in theory could shout at them and get your point across even from that distance because it's in your view. Also, yeah, the window is nice, and obviously you have your own private bathroom there. That is, well, one of the nicer rooms on the ship, so that's the one that I lit properly. And I think it's a great room. And I used it also to put my Patreon and channel member plaques here. Unfortunately, the lighting is not working right now. I don't know why, because I tried to improve that last minute and broke something. Dire Wolf, so this is a plague build thing. What do you mean by that? Player build. Oh, yeah, right. Well, it's not player designed, right? It's the RSI Galaxy. It's a Star Citizen concept chip that's been announced about 2 years ago, and it hasn't come out. It won't come out in the near future, but a lot of people love it, so I have rebuilt the whole interior based on the concept images and the concept blueprints that we got. And so even though only I built it, it's between 80 and 90% accurate. Well, to what we know about the ship right now. But yes, it's player built. The interior is. The exterior is the official HoloViewer model, and yeah. The only thing I needed to mention is I have 2 crazy $25 members now, and they got their own. I didn't have a name for it. Well, it's the highest level plague you can get right now, obviously. Right. So, that was basically the whole tour. Oh no, it wasn't. Oh no, it wasn't. Of course not. No, we're going to have a look at the modules too, because I have all the modules built as well. Oh, how did I forget that? It's the most important stuff, basically. So loading in the modules will take a moment, and I'm going to put you on a pause screen for the loading, but it will only take like, well, let's say half a minute, maybe a minute. Yeah, the refinery module, I have that too. It will come in just a minute. we're going to start with the cargo module though, because it's the most, no, it's not boring, but it's the most basic one. Now, apparently I did not set that up properly. That video is not looping properly. That's a shame, but it's not the worst. Now let me get rid of that. And now we're back. Okay, thank you for your patience. I have loaded, how big is the hangar? Hangar is 15.5 meters long and 13 meters wide, but that is here, so in between those struts. I did not calculate those, so basically it's from here to here, that's 13 meters. And then in between the walls it would be 18 meters wide, but that would obviously be restricting the kind of ships you get in here. But yeah, 15.5 meters times 13 meters, and then some areas where it's 18 meters wide. Now we have our cargo module, and as you can see it is, well, almost the same as not having a module equipped, but this adds cargo plates, and that's important. So this adds 512 SCU of cargo, if I'm not wrong. So it's basically 32 boxes times 2, and then times 2 on top of each other. So 32, 64, 128, yeah, 512. So 512 SCU cargo grids. There would be room to make a lot more in here. That's again, I think, mostly balancing and, well, to keep some room for walking around. And then in the middle here, the darker plate you can see, that's the lift. That this module comes with a big lift, and this is basically designed to get in 2 SCU crates, 32 SCU crates, or an Ursa rover. Direwolf, no, this is not supposed, it's absolutely not supposed to fit a prospector, and it doesn't fit a prospector. I said earlier that you can get it in, you can land it, but it will stick out mostly, and that means you can't quantum jump, and that means you can't really move it around. However, there is some interesting thing about the prospector. I'll talk about that in a second when I get to the refinery module. So this lift, I don't know the measurements, but again, it's designed to house 2 32 SE crates or an Ursa rover, so it's about 3 meters wide. It can't even fit 2 crates on top of each other officially. It could, I don't know. I think the reason why you can't put 2 crates on top of each other is because the lift won't extend far enough to the floor to put 2 in between. That means it's a bit tedious to load it, and you can, if you want to like have a better view, have a look at that latest video of mine, which is the cargo module video, where I show it on the exterior with crates. Obviously I took the crates out here because it doesn't look like it, but they take a lot of performance out of this. But again, I have a video where you can see it with crates and how the loading works. On top you have the cargo crane system. That is something new and unique to the ship, because it's not the usual tractor beams that you have with a moving head basically, but the whole tractor unit moves around, and that does not really add a lot of value. It's not better than the normal rotating tractor beams we have, but it obviously is a lot cooler, and it adds a lot to your role-playing experience. Again, in my video you can see them animated, and it looks really cool if they move around. And I also added a view from the computer, basically where you control them. From the perspective of the tractor beam, it looks really cool from the top, like moving around over your cargo grid. Have a look if you haven't seen that. The weird thing is that they don't go over the very middle. So, I mean, structurally it makes sense, but will be again very tedious to load it. But yeah, I think they will make the cargo loop in this ship specifically a bit more interesting, right? And that's something cool. And also, I mentioned that before, it goes a step away from what we call Beam Citizen, which is the fact that Star Citizen uses beams for every single mechanic. If it's salvaging or scanning or healing or mining or tractor, it's all beams, and that's a bit lazy design. And so this is a great, cool addition to not have that on this ship. Travis Go, when do you think the Galaxy will be on sale again? I would have expected it to be on sale this IAE, but I didn't see it, to be honest. So if it wasn't, then I would not expect it to be on sale again before they announce that it's in production, which could be by the end of next year. Or if it was on sale on IE and I didn't see it, then it will probably be again on sale for Invictus. Oh, okay, so it was on sale and I guess you missed it. Then it will probably be also on sale at Invictus. Invictus will be in May usually. Even though it's more catered towards military ships, I'm sure they will sell that too. Right, that was the cargo module. Now I'm going to go back to the pause and load in the next one. Unless, I mean, if you have any questions specific to the cargo module, please feel free to ask. This is so weird. I'm not sure if you can see that, but the performance was fine before and it is fine now, but it tanked with the cargo module even though it's completely empty. For some reason the medical module is more performant. As you can see, there are doors that are a bit different. They are missing the backside, that's fine. But the medical module has doors with windows. It's the only module with windows. That's interesting, but it's kind of cool. It also, I have not animated the doors to open in here, so we'll have to go around. Won't take long. If you have any questions specifically to the medical module, that's the perfect opportunity. Oh no, I just took the wrong turn. I walked around this ship so often and still I'm missing my turn. That's devastating. Oh no, oh no. Never mind. Okay, this is our medical module. As you can see, it has the same size elevator as the cargo module. So again, this is it is meant to house or get in a rover, the Nurser basically. Again, I have a video about this module in particular, if you want to see it rendered a bit prettier with the Nurser inside here. And the fun thing why I mentioned that is I had the video with the Nurser on here at least half a year before the Nurser was officially announced. I just took a good guess and textured it somewhat similar than it turned out to look. That was kind of cool. So this ship I just saw the comment, will not have any medical beds if you don't have the medical unit installed. I hope that will change. A lot of people hope that they will get at least like a tier 1 bed. But as of right now, we don't have any medical beds if you don't have the medical module. I'm sorry guys, I always forget, is tier 1 the highest tier bed or tier 3? Which direction does it go? Which are the good beds? Tier 1 is the highest. Okay, thank you very much. Because I always mess that up. I have to glitch through the door right now. So if that's the case, then we have 3 tier 3 beds. 3 of the lowest tier beds on this side. And then on the behind that there's a small room that is used for just storing medical stuff. And then another small corridor going back to this overviewing room that you have in every single module. That's the less interesting side, I would say. On the opposite side, you have double doors to have a decontamination area. Decontamination is not like any mechanic in game, and I don't think it was even mentioned that it will come in the future, but still, again, for role-playing purpose, it's really nice. There's a decontamination area on this side of the ship, and then again some storage here. And on this side then you have your 2 tier 2 beds, so that's the slightly better ones. And at the end you have your 1 tier 3 bed. So again, in total this ship has... No, did I mess it up again? So this is tier 1 bed. Okay, we have 1 tier 1 bed, 2... No. We have 1 tier 1 bed, 2 tier 2s and 3 tier 3s. That's actually pretty easy to remember. I should just remember it's the amount of beds in the galaxy. That means, compared to the other big hospital ship, the Apollo, the galaxy has... well, the Apollo is better if you want to specialize in one or the other. So if you want to have just small tier 3 beds, the Apollo can have more beds than the Galaxy in total. And also if you want to specialize on tier 3, then again the Apollo can have more tier 3 beds than the Galaxy. But in total the Galaxy has more beds, and more if you want to have beds of any kind and like a good mix. Tier 1 will heal the same way a medic bed in a normal station does, right? It heals everything. Well, it was supposed to be like that. A tier 1 bed was supposed to be like a hospital bed. Not like a station bed. I think a station bed is in the future not going to really heal you. But I think you're talking about the hospital beds, right? So I think it was supposed to be the same as a hospital bed, healing everything, and I'm not entirely sure if that will stay like that. But as of right now, that's the plan, yes. So, especially with this module, it makes sense to use the hangar for medical Pisces. So you have 2 Pisces. No, well, actually, officially you have 1 medical Pisces. But in the... Was it the yeah, it was the medical video. I measured and I got 2 Pisces in here, right? So I got them in between those pillars on the sides. It's crunchy, but it's possible. Again, not 100% confirming that that works in the final build. No one knows, but with the current measurements, I would be able to fit 2 Pisces in there and then 1 Ursa rover here. And I think that's everything about the medical module. I hope I didn't skip over anything. And that means I'm going to put you on the break again and load in the last module. Which is the Refinery module. Here we go. So, let me read that. Tier 1 can heal also. Standard Dutch writes, Tier 1 facilities found only in hospitals and yet to be implemented hospital ships can heal all severities of injuries, while Tier 3 facilities can only heal minor injuries. So if I get it right, you're just proving my point, right? I didn't make a mistake there. The only thing I said in addition, and that I still think are true, is that's the current plan. That does not really mention what is it called? The if you die and you get your clone, and basically whenever we have Death of a Spaceman and you can completely die and have to put your consciousness into the next clone of yourself. I'm not sure if a Tier 3 bed can do that, and I don't think it was ever completely confirmed. So I would just expect there to be at least small changes whenever that comes live. Alright, now to the Refinery module. This might be the most interesting one, at least visually. And again, this is one that really benefits from better lighting. So again, if you're interested and haven't seen it, I have a video about just the Refinery module with nice atmospheric fog in here and great lighting. And right now it looks very bright. Usually it's a very moody room. There's an artwork for that, and I try to match that as good as possible. But just like design-wise, it's my favorite module for the ship. First difference between the two, or the three, is that you get an elevator too, but it's a lot smaller. Wait, actually, I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure if it's confirmed to have an elevator or if it's just like a an access, basically a big access door where you can get in stuff. But either way, it's a lot smaller than the other ones. It's the same width, but not as long. And that would be that thing in the middle here. Then in the corner we have these big things that I don't know really what it is. In the beginning I thought it is for the ore bags, but I don't think it is anymore, because you can't see that here, but on the opposite side of the on the opposite side of this floor, on the bottom side of on the Galaxy, there are dedicated I don't know what they are called, but dedicated docking things for those bags. And so from the prospector you can put your bags on the outside of the Galaxy. It's basically right below these two big tubes, and then you get your material into the system of the ship without having to actually get the bags in. And that's what I said earlier is one of the great advantages if you want to work with a prospector, because yeah, again, you don't have to get the bags in. You basically put them on here, unload them, and then you can put them right back onto your prospector and get back to mining. That was talked about in the very first Galaxy video. It is kind of shown on one of the images, on one of the artworks. And again, I have made a full animation of that in the Refinery module video, in case you haven't seen that, where you basically, I basically animated the prospector to fly below, and then yeah, it unloads the saddlebags into the system here. What's the size of the hangar in meters? Are you talking about the hangar? This right behind this door is the hangar, or this module? Because the hangar is 15.5 times 13 meters, and 18 meters wide between those pillars. The module, I don't know. I can check in a minute for you. I'll check once we're done with the refinery module, okay? So then you have your refined ore in your system basically, so it's unphysicalized, but it's in the galaxy. So then again, I still don't know what these are for. Someone back then, like when I did the video, speculated that it's like a station where you can park your mech suits, which is funny because back then we didn't have mech suits, but I mean right now we have. Still don't know if you would need them in here, but well, that's one possibility. It could also be for disposing the boxes that you get when you finish refining stuff, but I expect them to come out here, to be honest. I don't know what these in the corner are for. I don't think anyone knows at this point. But I do know if I go up here, that is something that makes this module so cool. The elevation difference makes it a really interesting view from up here. You have your terminals where you do your refining processes. We don't know much about that, but they said it will be much more interesting than the refining that you currently have on the stations. So you can still choose from different methods, but you can also then change them. They described this as kind of recipes, where you can have basically a recipe to refine this one resource, but then you can make changes to the recipe and use different materials for the process, use different, I don't know, heat or different, you can add agents that will accelerate the reaction or whatever. I actually hope that is something you can do physically, like actually these gangways here have no real use unless there is maybe something here where you can put stuff in here and just add that to whatever is happening in that reactor. But that would then speed up the process or make the process slower, but you get more refined stuff out at the end. It's supposed to be a more interesting gameplay than it is right now. We don't really know any more than that. And that it's not coming in the near future. Red snare, maybe a trolley point for the boxes to move. A trolley point where you have the one that moves around, you mean? Could be, but what are these like structures for? They would be in the way for almost anything. I would also not rule out that these right now are just placeholders, because they don't really know what's going to come there and just put something interesting in the corner. I don't know. Yeah, as I said earlier, this whole tubing thing is for the intake on the outside, and for every module you have these same screens here, which I think are mostly for tractor beams and for controlling the elevator. All right. So I see that your question was for the hangar and not for the module. Yeah, again, let me glitch through this wall. From here to here, 15.5 meters. From this strut to this strut, 13 meters wide. I took this for measurement because most ships will find this to be in the way. But in between these, where your cargo grids are, it's 18 meters wide. So if you can fit something in between these two things, then it's 18 by 15 meters. Okay. That's basically everything we have on the interior. Is there any question you have about the interior? Because I can still show you the exterior. But yeah, if you have anything regarding the interior, then now is a better opportunity. Gas liquid input to process ores. That's interesting, yeah. Yeah, well, we have those different containers in the works for different kind of resources, so that might actually be a good idea. It's gonna be at least 2 years before it will come. No, I pledged 1, so I also have to wait for it. Yeah, we all have to. I wouldn't say at least 2 years, but I would say 2 years is realistic. 1.5 years is like wishful thinking. But I think since they're already working on the Perseus, and the Perseus is supposed to be faster, I think, like, if I'm not hyping stuff up. Usually I would always say wait times are longer than most people think, but I think it's a possibility that we have like a first look at the Perseus at IAE, no, not IAE, at Invictus, just as we had the Polaris with only the exterior, right? So I think it's a possibility that we have the Perseus exterior next Invictus, and then get the full Perseus next IAE. Again, that's lucky thinking, but that would mean that after that the Galaxy could go in production, and it is smaller, they can reuse a lot of stuff, so maybe it won't take them a full year, but it is more likely that it will take them another year at least. So yeah, I think 2 years is realistic. But I don't think it will take 2 years until we hear about it again. Your work is amazing. Thank you. Can you show me the airlock and how it looks from the inside looking outside? I can show you where it is. I don't know what you mean looking outside. You want me to open the airlock? Or do you want to see it from the exterior? But I'm going there. Can you show me that? How much did the building module cost? I think the building module was never sold. The building module is not the only 3 modules that are currently officially announced and sold are Refinery, Cargo, and Medical. And then there will also be a base building and a crafting module. I think that's what you mean by the building module. And I think they have never been sold, so they don't have a price yet. Maybe ATLS charging position. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. That's what it kind of looks like. I'm not sure if they make sense in there, because they would make more sense in the cargo module, right, than in the refinery module. But still, it kind of looks like that, honestly. Basically, I want to use the airlock to disembark from the Galaxy, and a few HP of health is acceptable. Are you asking me if you can jump out of the airlock, like in atmosphere, and then you hope that the drop is okay to survive? Is that what you're asking? So this is where the airlock is. Yes. Okay. I can't show you here because I don't have the exterior loaded in, but this is where the airlock is from the inside. Just remember that for a minute, and then we're going to have a look at the exterior, and I can show you that you will absolutely not survive that. Well, you might survive it in game. I don't know what the highest height you can drop from is in Star Citizen right now, but in reality it's like, I don't know how many meters. It's too high. Again, in game it could actually work, but you don't have to, because I don't know if you don't know that, but there is, if you take this elevator down, oh no, if you take this elevator down, you are right beneath the airlock, and then to the right is your armory, and then in the engineering room there is a tiny little surface elevator, and that is the way out if you don't have any module equipped with an elevator. So this will always come with at least a way to get outside if you don't have a module. Perfect positioning, as there's some hull piece you can vault to from the airlock and basically make your superhero landing. We'll have a look at that in a second, okay? Another beautiful day in Blender. That is correct. Every day in Blender is a beautiful day. Hangar is too tall for 64 SCU. Yes, it absolutely is. We talked about that too. I think it's mostly that high to, I mean, there would nothing interesting, there would be no other use for the height. Because, I mean, if you make it half as high, then no ship would fit in, so that's not helping anyone. And if you make it a little less higher, there is nothing that you could put on the top, so it's useless. I think it's a cool room. I think it's beautiful and interesting, and you can always stack more crates on top of each other, more than 64. You're free to. They could just tip over. Okay, anything else for the interior before we move to the exterior? No? Okay, then let me put you into the waiting room again. And I will load in the exterior. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to quickly give you the measurements for the module, even though your question specifically was for the real hangar. I'm still going to tell you how big the hangar module is, or like any module really. So the module is 24 meters wide and 23 meters long. Oh, one follow-up question. Could you place a medical Ursa in the back hangar using a ATS and possibly drive that thing inside your cargo module equipped module area? I want to make a quasi-carrack. No, you can't. I am 99% sure that the store... I mean, currently it definitely does not fit any vehicle, except for maybe a... what is this type? A Pulse. But it won't fit any like big mining, or not even a rock will fit through the doors. This door is not meant to get stuff through, not even bigger boxes. So again, I think that's mostly for balancing reason. But you can, I mean, why would you do that? Why would you want to do that? You can get the medical Ursa in from the hangar itself. That's what the lift is for. The lift in the medical module is specifically built for the size of an Ursa. If you're asking if you can get a second one into the hangar with tractor ATLS or with an STUV, I think you can, sure. Like space-wise, it would absolutely fit. Is there any unused space where drones could launch out of the side or top of the base building module? Space, absolutely. But the problem with that is that usually they try to keep the modular part to one single area, so they only have to switch out this one area. Usually if you have ships that are different in all kinds of areas of the ships, then you can't use modularity, or the way they set up modularity. You can only use that if you have like one specific room that you change out between modules. And they wanted this ship to be modular and not have different variants. That means that basically all changes have to be in this lower section where the module is, and it can't be on the top. That would then be more a variant of the ship. They have said that it's a problem that it's on the bottom because drones can't start from the bottom, which is weird because there's clearly enough space. But they said they'll figure it out. So either they make the drones be able to launch from the bottom, or yeah, maybe they have to change their plans and make this a base building variant, or make a second part of the top modular so that it swaps out in between modules. But they can't extend that room all the way to the top because there's obviously stuff above. I think they have clearly not thought that out before they did that, but yeah, that is a problem. They have not officially found a solution for it, or at least they haven't told us their solution. Okay. Well, I missed out on the cargo module, so I want to see if I can just tractor a medical Ursa in the back hangar and have space for a ship. I think. Yeah, the Starlancer also has them on the sides. So again, on the sides it would work, but this ship was not designed to have anything on the sides that comes out. Maybe they'll change that. Maybe they will figure it out. It will get its base building module eventually. You want to know if you can tractor a medical Ursa in the back hangar and have space for a ship. Oh, both in the hangar. I don't think so. I think an Ursa would fill up the hangar pretty much. But I mean, you can let the Ursa stay in the module and then have a ship in the back. That's what it's designed to have, an Ursa in the module and then a Pisces in the back, or something slightly bigger, or even two Pisces maybe. So exterior. I have to rant a little bit again. It looks like a Star Destroyer. I don't like that. I said that a lot. This looks like a military ship, but it isn't. So even though it looks great, it doesn't look like what it is. The only thing I'm not sure about here is the height of the ship, like the height of the ground. I only looked at one image, but that is something that I cannot... I can't measure exact in the artworks they gave us. So I don't know if it's a little bit higher or lower with its landing gear. Apart from that, I don't know if there's anything interesting about the exterior. Except for what you asked earlier, you wanted to know where the docking port is and if you can jump outside. Let's have a look. Oh wait, before we go up there, I said earlier that you can't put two crates on top of each other on the elevator here. Maybe you can, but officially it's designed to hold two SU crates next to each other. But I think this metal stuff here is in the way, so again they might design it so you can only get two in at a time to make it less efficient than a dedicated cargo hauler. Asif, I think the top roof area worked with a module and opened up. We could have had a module that basically takes Perseus guns both below and above. Yeah, that's definitely theory crafting. I think a military module with more guns is something that a lot of people asked for, and well, I mean it's a possibility. if they want this ship to be the they talked about true modularity. It's supposed to do a bit of everything if you have all the modules. So I think it would be cool to have more modules for this one, including military one. But I still kind of think modules will only be on the bottom. So maybe we'll have a ship that only have more big guns on the bottom for like orbital bombardments or something like that. Okay, now I have to fly up a bit. That's where the docking port is on the outside, and I guess this is what you're talking about, right? That you can potentially jump out of here onto that thing and then from there to the bottom. Honestly, in game it might work, but I can measure that in a second for you, but I think it's realistically, in real world thinking, it will kill you. Or no, it will break your legs, so that's not good either. I would guess 5 to 6 meters, maybe. Sorry for bugging you, but I just love the ship. No, there's no bugging. This stream is for questions, so hit me with everything. One question: could you take a 32 SCU sized container, tractor it in the back hangar, and take from the hangar and in the cargo module? I asked this because Galaxy cargo lift is kind of limiting in a way. Well, you're right, it's limiting, absolutely. I think this cargo lift is very, very limiting, and I think it's by design. I talked about that a lot in the... I have a dedicated video for the cargo module with basically this rendered prettily. I think it is to differentiate it from the dedicated hauler ships. You have to load a hull C or even a C2 or like a Caterpillar. You have to load those things faster than this. That's basically what makes them a dedicated cargo ship versus a modular ship that also supports cargo gameplay. I think you will always be slower and a bit... You will always have it a bit worse than on a dedicated hauler, and that's by design. I still think that you can definitely use external tractor beams to get crates into the hangar. If you can get them through the door or not, that's a bit hard to say, because this door is... It's obviously designed to hinder you from getting some stuff through. And so that means even if I measure it now for you, they will change it in their balancing of the ship. And I think they will decide if they want you to get crates through or not. Currently, I think you can fit in a 32 SU crate through this door. Currently, but it's so close that they could change that if they wanted to. And I think there's a good reason they don't want you to get big crates through this door. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe they changed their mind, but well, in theory, yes, you could. Or at least you can for sure get smaller crates too. But yeah, cargo lift is really limiting. I mean, it would be easy to fix. You could easily like design it to be as wide as the module itself. So like in the Connie, where you have the whole ground floor of your hangar lowering down, and then you can put the crates on there. I don't think they will do that, just again for balancing. It would be too good. And then also the exterior is a lot, it's very detailed, there's a lot of stuff here, and that would make it hard to make this whole thing open and have a module-sized elevator here. Yeah, that's my guess. it would make it like a big brother to the Connie Taurus if the whole module came down. Yeah, interesting phrasing, because that's how they announced it. I think they used the word big brother to the Connie, and I think that's what it's supposed to be role-wise. So again, I think it's weird that it looks so completely not like a Taurus or a Connie. I think the Connie really looks like a great exploration ship, and it's still believable to be like a small cargo ship, but it looks to me like an exploration ship, especially with a nice big window and stuff. But this absolutely looks like a warship, and it's supposed to be the big brother of those. As you can see, or maybe you can't see it because the view is not the best from here. Obviously I had to turn out all the lighting for this scene. Again, if you want to see this in pretty, this very view is from the cargo module video that I did, where I rendered this with the lights and stuff, and it looks very nice because I put on the protector paint. That's I think it's the more expensive paint, or is it maybe even it's some kind of concierge paint that only limited people can buy, but it's the different paint. I'll show you from the top, because some people, including me, like this paint very much. It looks a bit flat without shading and lighting right now, but yeah, I just love the paint and wanted to add that. I like the doorway though, makes it harder for people to mess with your damageable cargo when it can go boom. Agree. I also like the door. I think it also, for if pressure and differently pressurized rooms become a thing in the future, we will be glad that there is a door between those two. I don't know if the hangar will have some kind of force field to keep the air out. We don't know that. I hope it does, but if it doesn't, then there's another good reason for that door there. $11 concierge paint. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's a shame because it's to me that's the prettier of the versions of the Galaxy that we have. Even though $11 is relatively cheap, like in Star Citizen terms at least. I mean, it's outrageous for a ship that is not even released, but for a ship of this size I would have expected it to be more expensive. And for a concierge paint I would expect it to be even more expensive. But yeah. Right, and that's basically exterior, interior, all the modules. Basically, we've seen everything. Is there anything that you want me to revisit that you missed in the beginning maybe, or revisit any of the modules? Okay, I dropped. Or anything that you want to, yeah, see again? Although I own a Galaxy, I'm happy for its delay in production. It's only going to get better ego standard to be done. Yeah, I agree. I think pushing it back is a good idea. There's so much stuff being worked on right now, like all the base building stuff and the crafting that will heavily influence this ship. And you could have built it already and then just add those modules later. But I think pushing it back and doing it after engineering and all that is figured out will make this a better ship in the end. Let's hope so. I didn't really expect there to be that much interest in the Galaxy. It was just that when this came out, I was just interested. I think I thought it looks cool and it had a great layout. So I just started to rebuild the interior for me, for fun, to just walk around in VR. And well, then I was kind of surprised how many, I mean, by now the original video I did for the exterior of the, no, not the, for the interior tour without the module, so the first cargo, no, not the first Galaxy video I did, sorry, that is at, I think, 120,000 views right now. That is, I expected something like 1,000 maybe if I was lucky, but I completely misjudged how many people would love this ship in particular. So it's a shame that it's pushed, but then again, it will be great. It will benefit from all the stuff that's happening in the meantime, because as you can see, the more modern ships usually, every single ship that comes out sets a new standard for quality and for functionality and PDCs. Yeah, PDCs are an example, but PDCs are an example that you can easily add to existing ships, and they have done that and they will do that for more, but I think there are other things that you can't as easily just add onto the outside later. I think even physicalized armor will be very interesting for the Galaxy, because there is so much armor on the outside. Even though it's not supposed to be an armored ship, but there is just a lot of massive armor plating on the outside, and that will, well, it will do something when that gameplay is implemented. All right. Is there anything else I can give you before we end the stream? Anyone here has not seen the interior of the Paladin? It's not finished, but that's something that I showed in the test stream on Monday. But honestly, I think the Paladin hype is kinda over now. Paladin and Galaxy interior, if you have any more question. Otherwise, we are pretty much at the end of what I have to show today. Okay, in that case, oh, there's one thing I wanted to mention. If any of my existing channel members or patrons are here, I will release the interior that I have here with the improved lighting in the next few days, probably. So I thought I had the Galaxy finished, but since I did the lighting updates, I will publish that for you. For everyone who doesn't know, I think I talked about it too often already, my patrons and channel members get the interior of the Galaxy for themselves, and they can walk around that ship in their web browser in a simplified version, and I update all the plaques every single time. So if you're interested in any way, then in a few days I will get a new version out with the current names of all the patrons, and you can walk around the ship for yourself with the lighting additions I did in the 2 rooms there. All right, and that's it for today, I think. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your interest in the Galaxy. And have a nice Christmas. Have a happy holiday. Have a new year. Have a good, what is it called in English? Have a happy new year. And then see you sometime next year. Thank you very much. See you around, and goodbye.